Um,
Yeah.
we killed the drone.
It hit a brick wall. So
Just like my dreams. We are here in Rocket City, A.K.A. Huntsville, Alabama, and we are back on our trip after a couple of weeks off for a camper to be in the shop. Check out that video right here. But we are so excited to be back on the road. This past week, we've been in Huntsville, Alabama. It is a beautiful area. It's a lot warmer than where we currently were.
yes.
We've been staying at the U.S. Space and Rocket Center RV Park. This is a smaller RV park, and it's right next to the U.S. Space and Rocket Center. It's a really nice RV park. There's about 30 spots. For a back-in site, it was $30 a night. We've had full hookups, which was really great. They have a super clean bathroom and shower house that is lock-coded, like door number locked.
Yep.
Door number locked, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a really, really amazing campsite, honestly. It's one of the more spread out parks. So it may only have about 30 spots, but they're all pretty well spaced out. And you get, for $30 a night in the heart of Huntsville, you can't really find a better location than this.
Yeah, like we said, it's the heart of Huntsville. So we are really close to their downtown area, but not, we're like, less than a 10-minute drive.
Yeah, less than 10 minutes to get to some of the more interesting parts of downtown.
Yes.
One downside about this park is there is no active like hiking trails or walking trails. That being said, there is quite a bit of like more private road area that goes back farther into the U.S. Space Center, and you can use those to walk the dogs. Not a lot of traffic on them. Feels perfectly safe. There's pretty big grass areas as well for you to take your dogs out. For us, it's definitely always an important thing to have.
It is 25 degrees here in Huntsville, Alabama, with a wind chill of 10. While it is warmer here than where we were, we did have some issues with some ice and cold.
Yeah, so one downside about still being pretty far north in the middle of the winter is frozen water lines. So for other full-timers out there, you are probably well aware of what happens whenever it gets below about 32 degrees outside overnight. Your water lines will freeze, and that is something that we experienced multiple nights this week. A couple nights we stayed and probably in about the upper 30s, low 40s, but it definitely dropped down to the 20s on a couple of evenings. And when you wake up in the morning, you are not going to have any water pressure if you haven't disconnected your hose. And even if you have, sometimes the actual line that feeds your water hookup will be frozen up in that pipe, and you just kind of have to wait for it to thaw out. I saw some people like with hair dryers or heat guns out there trying to get it to defrost. There are some people around here that are used to camping farther north than we are, and they have the heated and insulated hoses so that they can just leave them hooked up overnight. For us, we had to go out every night, and by us, I mean me, had to go out and disconnect the water line and our water filter, get that packed up or put inside so that there was no water left inside of it, so that it didn't damage the hose.
Yeah. But either way, we've really enjoyed this campsite. I think it's a beautiful campsite. It's right in the middle of where you want to be as far as everything goes. It feels really safe. There's tons of room for us and our camper. We've got a pretty big camper, and it doesn't feel like we're right on top of each other. And I think it's definitely worth the money. For $30,
$30
this is a deal. So we'll definitely leave a review on it a little bit more in depth. But yeah, definitely recommend this spot if you're in Huntsville.
Yeah, especially if you have small kids that are going to space camp or interested in the U.S. Space and Rocket Center. That's a really, really interesting building. Definitely recommend you go there. If you haven't already, we also just recently went to the Kennedy Space Center. We'll link that video up here. As we mentioned, we are in Huntsville, Alabama. It's a really, really awesome city. You see plenty of the Rocket City name being shown throughout the stores, the restaurants, and everything.
Even the street names.
Yeah, definitely. So it's a pretty big area, honestly. We were kind of surprised. We didn't realize how physically large Huntsville was. It's pretty spread out. But as we said, we're about 10 minutes away from their downtown, which has a lot of stuff to do just right there. It is just crawling with a lot of stuff to do.
Yes, we found ourselves going there quite a few times for their different restaurants. I went on a short, what I call like a coffee tour of the town. So I went to 5 different coffee shops throughout the town.
Just spread throughout the week, not in one day.
Yes.
That'd be too much caffeine.
That would be a lot of caffeine. I am so glad I didn't do it that way. Like Austin said, I did not have all the coffee in one day because 5 coffees in one day, as far as like an espresso or like a latte drink, is far too many for me. But either way, we saw a ton of local businesses and things like that. Some of my favorites were the Moon Bake Shop, which wasn't necessarily a coffee shop, but
The place was delicious.
Oh man, they had a cruffin, which is like a croissant muffin. It's so good.
It was like filled with I don't know exactly what it was. It was almost like a pudding. It was
Like a cream pudding.
Yeah, it was so good.
It was really good. And then we've also gone to Oshi, which is a sushi and poke place. Either way, the food is really good. Austin had a ramen bowl and I had poke.
Yeah, it was seriously delicious. Of the like Japanese style restaurants that we've been to since we've been traveling, it's definitely up there as far as like close to the top.
Yes, really good. And then we headed on over to Cookie Dough Magic, which I think there was a little bit of magic in it because Austin normally does not like cookie dough, and he liked it this time. It was good. It's definitely they've got that recipe down because it's like a nice whipped consistency, which I found very delightful.
Yeah, it was seriously delicious. A lot of times when we've had cookie dough in the past, it's always been kind of gritty, it's like sandy feeling almost. It's like clumpy. This stuff was seriously butter smooth, super consistent, and it was delicious. And I don't typically like a lot of rich dessert foods, but if you're in the area, I would definitely check it out. If you are a cookie dough fan, or even if you're not, give it a shot there because it might change your mind on it.
Hey everybody, we are here at the Monson State Park in Huntsville, Alabama. We are on the Stone Cuts Trail, and it is a really, really cool site.
We have gone on several different adventures throughout town as far as different trails and things like that. There is the Monte Sano State Park here. It's maybe I think it's like a
20 minute drive out.
15-20 minute drive.
From the campground?
Yes, from our campground. So we were there and we went on the Stone Cuts Trail, which is kind of their more well-known trail because it has, you literally are walking through different huge stones.
Yeah.
So we went on that trail. To get to that trail, we went from the Sinks Trail in the parking lot over to the Stone Cuts Trail. Then we took the Mountain Mist Trail back, and that was quite the hike this morning. It was 2.7 miles. It was a lot of fun, uphill, downhill.
It's definitely a good workout.
Yes, it was really fun, and our dogs really enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, definitely a dog-friendly trail for bigger dogs. If you have smaller dogs, there might be some parts where you kind of have to give them a little help, pick them up, move them up to a higher up rock or something like that. So just something to be aware of, but definitely recommended. We'll post a link in the description down to the all trails so you can see exactly the trail that we took. So if you're considering coming to Huntsville and you want to check it out, there you go.
Yes, and it was $5 per person to get in.
Yep. The other trail that we went on was the Alum Hollows Trail at Green Mountain Nature Preserve, and that actually takes you from the trailhead to a waterfall and a really cool rock formation. Kind that they call the rock shelter. And you get to see kind of both of those as a reward at the very end of the trail. It is an in and back trail that's 1.1 miles each direction for a total of 2.2 miles. And it seriously was definitely worth it. The trail wasn't too difficult, definitely dog friendly. Once you get right down towards the end at the waterfall, there's one pretty steep section. So if it's been pretty rainy or something, it might be a little more difficult if it's muddy, but definitely recommended. It's a great trail.
Yes, super beautiful. Love that trail. One thing you're going to notice as we've kind of coming towards the end of our video, we usually like to fly the drone in our, whatever spots we can that we find beautiful, whether that's nature spots or downtowns or just local parks, any of those sorts of things. So yesterday,
filming on Saturday. On Friday.
So we were out trying to get some cool shots of their downtown. We got one of this really cool art mural, and then our drone.
There was a small problem.
I was asking Austin to do a very specific flight move. The downtown, as you would think of it being downtown, is, has buildings on either side of the road because it's downtown. That's how those places usually work. So there's a really cool shot that Austin does, and I'll show you a Savannah, Georgia example, where he doesn't fly directly along, but kind of makes it an angle along. So it allows you to better focus on with your eyes on the building.
Yeah.
We killed the drone. We killed the drone.
It hit a brick wall. So
just like my dreams.
So it was. The maneuver I was trying to fly in was just a pretty simple strafe. There was a couple things that led up to the incident. Ultimately, we think the drone is going to be recoverable, so we were able to physically pick it up, show you some pictures of the damage here, and we'll go into more details in another video. But basically, I had not double-checked to make sure that I was flying above any surrounding buildings, and I ended up hitting about the top foot and a half of a building that had a overhang. So unfortunately, the DJI drone that we were flying only has downward obstacle avoidance. So once it hit it, there was nothing that was going to stop it. I should have been paying more attention than I was. And unfortunately, we now have a broken drone in the need of repair. So we'll go into more details about that and our hopeful resurrection of it once we get the replacement parts in, which is going to be a whole process.
Yes, as we are on the road, and that makes that a little difficult. But that's why we won't have a ton of drone footage. So enjoy my GoPro's shots and the shots that I take from my camera, because drone footage might be a little while yet.
Yeah, so stay tuned. We will be posting that video about what happened with the drone, what we're going to be doing moving forward with our drone, and if you wanted to see more content like this video, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. If you want to be notified about all of the videos that we release, go ahead and hit that bell icon. You can follow us at Two Techie Travelers on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, TikTok. I think I covered most of them. Thank you all for watching, and we hope you have a great day.
See ya!